We also talk about the fact that Nikon has launched a brand new power zoom lens and 2 new cinema cameras. A few weeks ago, at the time of writing, we saw a launch of DeepSeek.ai, a Chinese AI business created by a hedge fund that was able to create a AI model as powerful as OpenAI's ChatGPT-1, but for a percentage of the cost, being $5.5 million, then offered the AI for free and open source for anyone to be able to use. This did trigger some unstable times in the stock market, with Nvidia taking the brunt of the concern or the brunt of the damage there, with The Guardian reporting on the 28th of January that, quote, Nvidia saw a 600 billion of their market value disappeared. The market itself was, the drop itself was reported by Bloomberg, which was the biggest market value drop in US stock market history. The losses come across the Magnificent Seven, being Alphabet or Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla, accounts for 1 trillion of their total market value of. So they lost around $1 trillion total of their total market value, $17 trillion. The founder of Scale AI told NBC that on Monday the Chinese labs had more than Nvidia's 30,000 H1 chips that people think. Perhaps this is around £1 billion worth of company equipment. My understanding is that DeepSeek has around 50,000 H-100s, which they can't talk about for obviously because they've got around the export controls that the US has put into place. Wang said they have more chips than other people expect, and also on a go-forward basis, they are limited because of those export controls specifically. A few days after the sell-off in the market, there was reports that DeepSeek had also used ChatGPT to help build their model to be better for a process called distillation. And of course, this is a little awkward for OpenAI, as OpenAI used the internet to train the model as we see today, claiming that if it's in public domain, then it's fair game for us to train our models on. And now they're getting upset with DeepSeek for basically using ChatGPT to copy or build their model through basically copying OpenAI's tech, which is kind of ironic in that respect. And OpenAI seems to have had a handful of cases dismissed, and they seem to be winning their copyright legal battles. There has also been reports that, quote, Microsoft, which provides servers for most of the OpenAI's compute, has said that they observed someone from China extracting a large amount of data from the OpenAI API, and they believe that these accounts are linked to DeepSeek, with reports that many more AIs are coming out that are outperforming ChatGPT's newest model. But that's all we found out in regards to DeepSeek specifically. Is it something that we see a larger market problem, or do you think that the AI hype wave needed this level of correction? And there was a lot of conversation about whether it was going to commoditize the market of AI, right? So there was a lot of people talking about the fact that is actually the money, quote unquote, to be made in AI is actually the products you build using these AI tools rather than the AIs themselves? Or is there a larger AI bubble either in the market or in general because of this hype, and we are getting to the point where we've had lots of years, or we're starting to get to the point where there's quite a significant number of years where AI isn't necessarily making the gains or making the progression that OpenAI and other companies like that have said and claimed that AI is going to be gaining in regards to improvements. So there is maybe some skepticism coming from the market and this was just another example of that? Or on the other side of it, is it purely actually that the costs are fair and the costs for these GPUs and these data centers are quite normal, and the only reason why DeepSeek can claim that they're doing it very cheaply is because they obviously can't talk about openly the fact that they, in most cases, and as we discussed, there's likely that they have a lot of expensive chips and potentially even the CUDA chips. That is purely speculation, of course, but the CUDA chips that Nvidia are making and saying are needed for AI training models, as we also talked about specifically in last week's episode where we talked about the keynote from January as well. So that is kind of what we know. Is this going to mean that China is now ahead in that AI race? Does that mean that, the US or the UK specifically, we've seen in the time it's taken us to write up this show that the UK government is also trying to create a AI corridor in the UK to invest in growth. There's been some concerns regarding the energy costs in the UK and why would, Alphabet and Google and these larger corporations come to a potential country where the cost of running these data centers is going to be higher than, say, the US, for example. But that is all we found out specifically about DeepSeek and in AI news specifically. So I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section down below.